Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats. Boy, is you ready? You ain't gotta ask.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Hitting the Field. I'm your host, Alex Funderburke. And with me for this first segment, we're going to talk some UCF sports. I'm joined by Kennedy Collins. Kennedy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. A little tired, but let's go. Let's go. I want to start with baseball. I mean, this weekend, they played number 1 Ole Miss, and they took 2 of 3 in that series. And frankly, they should have swept. They kind of fell apart in the 9th inning there in game 2 with a couple errors. But Kennedy, what did you think about baseball taking 2 of 3 against the number 1 team in the country?
Well, just seeing how they started their season, if you had told me at the beginning they would beat number 1 Ole Miss, I wouldn't have believed you. But just to see how well that they're playing with their offense is really great to me. I mean, not just because we go to UCF, but just seeing how well this young team is really adjusting. I think Ben McCabe had a really great game, their final game when they took their final victory. So I think just seeing how they played was really good to see. And of course, another UCF victory. So it's great to see that.
Oh, for sure. And I think another thing I want to highlight is their pitching. I mean, they're pitching in game 1 and game 2. Colton Gordon, the starter, he went 7 innings of 1-run ball. And then in game 3, A.J. Jones came in and threw 6 innings of 1-run ball while striking out 10 batters. And if you know Ole Miss, that lineup is insane. That team is insane. Before playing UCF, they had a 20-game winning streak that UCF snapped. So that Ole Miss team is really good. And Ole Miss gets Memphis next, and they might destroy Memphis, and it'll make UCF look even better because Memphis is in our conference. No, but I mean, they play Stetson this week, and they get a chance to get some revenge because Stetson beat UCF here in Orlando, or here at UCF last week. Can they get revenge against Stetson at Stetson on Wednesday night?
I would hope so. One of the things that I've always noticed with a lot of these UCF teams is consistency. A lot of times we have really big opponents who we play and beat, and then it feels like, okay, well, they slip up versus, not to say any opponent is less than, but sometimes it kind of feels like, all right, well, you know, after beating number 1 Ole Miss, you should come in and beat Stetson, especially after losing to them at home. But everything's different nowadays. Every team comes out differently every single game. Every series is going to be different. So I can't say for sure that, of course, you know, we're going to beat Stetson, but I'd like to see it. I mean, playing as well as you guys did versus Ole Miss and just winning that entire series, I think that they can carry that potential over to Stetson and need to carry that potential, especially for UCF and just for this entire season. I think it's something that they need to do. For
sure. And if you looked at how they started the season compared to now, you have 4 games this week that are all should be winnable. So if you can go 4-0 this week, you got 1 against Stetson, 3 against Liberty, those 3 against Liberty at home. You're looking at a whole complete different outlook of the season than how you started the season going. So you started the season 1-3. Now you're sitting at 3-4. You go 4-0 this week. You're in a great spot. But now I want to switch to women's basketball. I mean, they're balling right now on an 8-game winning streak. They're sitting at 13-2, 11-1 in the conference. They're tied for first now because USF got upset last night by Houston. And they have their 2 biggest games of the season this week. On tomorrow night, Tuesday, they play in Tampa. They play USF. And then on Thursday, they play USF again, but this time in Orlando. If they win both of those, the Knights are the conference champions. Brittany Smith and Alicia Lewis have been key so far during this 8-game winning streak. What do you need to see from them in order to beat USF twice this week?
Well, this basketball team is so just pertinent to have their post players. They absolutely rely on that post. So I think for Brittany Smith, it's definitely going to be a big game for her. It's always going to be a big game for their posts because they put so much pressure on those people down low. But at the same time, I think for Alicia, we're going to have to see better ball control. I mean, she sometimes has her games where she might go 0 for 5, or sometimes she might have 10, 15 on a really hot night. So I think for her, just control. But I really think this team is so great defensively that it makes other teams upset. I mean, their full court press is something that a lot of teams can't manage, and I think it's going to be very pertinent for the USF game. But I just like to see what Coach Abe does with her team and just growing these women on and off the court. And I think that this streak really shows how great of a program that they are and are continuing to grow into. I mean, last season we saw you were in the NCAAs the season before. So I think just seeing how they're growing and just continuing to be such a consistent team is something that I'm really excited about.
Yeah, no, this team is fun, and I work with athletics, and women's basketball is by far my favorite team to work with. They have so much fun. So if you're here on Thursday, come out to the game for sure. But I think Kaba, Mastani Kaba is one of the keys for this game here. One of the posts, it's her and Britt down low. If those two can get going, I don't think there's much USF can do to stop us, especially when that defense is rolling. I mean, right now they're number one in scoring defense. They give up like 48 points a game, which is the best in the country. So you got elite defense, and when they're clicking, you have an elite offense. It's going to be a great game. USF is really good. They're going to drop a little bit in the poll that comes out here in 50 minutes, but they were 13 before they lost yesterday. So it's going to be two great games this week. Like I said, if you're here on Thursday, come out to the game if you're watching this. But ESPN currently has UCF as an 11 seed in the tournament. Do you think that is too low, too high, or just about right?
Honestly, any type of seed to me is fair for UCF. I mean, we played ranked or big opponents this year and beat them. We played LSU. Same thing with Florida. Gulf Coast is a really great basketball school for women. So I think just seeing how well we can play against different opponents, they deserve any type of ranking. I mean, it's a blessing that UConn is no longer in our conference because now we're getting some recognition. But just seeing, I mean, like I said, a couple years back, we were in the NCAAs and deserve to be. And there's a lot of great basketball schools, especially for women's teams all across the country. And to see that UCF is there, and rightfully so. I mean, like you said, you have one of the best defenses in the country. And that's outside of all conferences. So I think they deserve where they're at right now. I'm very curious to see how long they stay in the rankings, if they stay in the rankings, and how well they play against USF and just what happens with that.
Yeah, no, like you said, they got one of the best defenses in the country. They're so much fun, and now they have a chance now. Like you said, UConn's not there anymore. They're gonna get more recognition, and they held Houston. They played Houston twice. Houston's a great team. They played Houston twice. They held them to season lows in both of those games. And if you saw the game 2 days ago, Houston manhandled USF. That game was not close. I think the final score was by like 25, but it could have been 30, 35 points. They dominated USF, and we beat that team twice. So I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna say that's too low. We need to be like an 8, 9 seed going into the tournament. We're with it. I'm ready. Like, I'm hyped. But now I want to switch gears to another team that has been absolutely dominating. The softball team has been electric. I mean, they're 9-2 so far. They're winning their games by combined 91-18, and that includes 3 shutout wins. Is 91 runs in 11 games sustainable? And if it's not, does it matter when you have lights out pitching that has only given up 18 runs this year?
I mean, you've said everything that you need to say. I mean, softball is just ridiculous. I mean, it's almost been a year since they stopped playing, and they played so well last season and have so many returners that I think that it was kind of inevitable for them to come out and play as well as they are, because they're kind of locked in. I mean, we're seeing it right now. And like you said, 3 games where you run rule somebody doesn't mean, okay, your pitching is okay or your offense is okay. You're playing really well, and they're playing so cohesively together that it's fun to watch those games. I mean, personally, I'm not the biggest softball fan, but every time I go out there, I'm hyped. Like, I want to win with them. I want to let me at that. Mm-hmm. But like you said, I think it's sustainable for sure. Just seeing how well they're playing together. And like I said, they're doing the best off the field to just stay healthy and lock into what Coach Bear has right now, and they're playing really well against these opponents. I mean, just their series last weekend with McNeese State, and just seeing how well they could battle back, especially in tough situations. And Aaliyah White's pitching right now is absolutely on fire. Of course, her getting the record for most wins as a pitcher. I just think right now there's nothing that can really stop them. Like I said, just carrying that momentum into different series and different games is really what's going to carry these teams. And I think softball is one of those teams that we're definitely going to see some great things out of them this season.
You know, they're fun. And 2 weekends ago when they played New Mexico State, they just dominated at the plate. They won one game 18-1. But then you come in this past weekend, you get McNeese State, that first doubleheader, it was 2 pitcher stools. And I mean, it was, I think, 2-1 and 3-1. And they battled and they came out on top. And I think that's what's most impressive to me is they can beat you 18-1. But if you have an ace on the mound where you're only going to get two, 3 runs a game, they can still beat you because they have the pitching to beat you. That's what's most impressive to me. I mean, being at those games, like you said, they're fun. Like you want to be out there. They're getting you hype out there. Like those games are a lot of fun. And a week from today, they have easily their biggest matchup of the year. They're playing the number 3 team in the country, Arizona. They're coming to Orlando. What are your expectations for that game?
Well, I think off the bat, no pun intended, it's going to be a great game. I think they're prepared. I mean, of course, they lost to Missouri in a very, very tough game. But at the same time, like I said, they played ranked opponents last year. They kind of know what to expect, and they just continue to grow. So I think right now, if I'm not to speak for them, but I'm pretty sure they're kind of in the mindset of it doesn't matter if they're ranked or not. I think they're looking at it and they're saying, okay, they've studied the pitching. They already know what they need to do on defense and how they're going to win on that end of the field. And then on the offensive end, you just have to stay true to who you are. I mean, with players like Georgia Blair, who are hitting home runs what feels like every single game, it's kind of hard to shut down that type of offense. So I think coming back to Orlando and just playing that game is going to be a very exciting game. I'm really excited to be there and just see how well they perform. But I think as long as they stay true to themselves and just continue to hone into what Coach Bear has, because Coach Bear is such a really good coach, it's going to be a really good game, and I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. And we've seen records set by this team already this year. I mean, Aaliyah White becoming the all-time wins leader. That 18-1 win was the largest margin of victory ever. It was also tied for the most runs we've ever scored. This team is fun. Like women's basketball, come out, support them because they deserve it. They're insane. You're going to have a bunch of fun. You're going to be getting hype in the crowd. But no, is there anything you want to close out with here, Kennedy, about UCF sports?
I just think that, UCF sports is something a lot of people don't give enough credit to. I mean, like I said, consistency is not our best thing. We're working on it. We're getting there. But I think UCF sports are always going to be fun to watch. I mean, it's something to invest in now because these teams are growing. We see what Coach Bear is doing with the softball program, and it's really, really flourishing. Same thing with Coach Abe, just when she came in and just completely transformed this program. I mean, even losing KK, and look how well you're still playing. I thought when KK left, I didn't know what we were going to do. But, I mean, seeing how well all of these teams are playing, and even the teams that aren't playing as well, just seeing their potential for growth to me is really exciting. So UCF sports, I'm excited for it. We're still waiting on spring football to start, so we'll get there when we get there, but I'm excited to see what happens with all these sports.
For sure. And I want to shout out Coach Abe real quick because we are the only team in the American Conference to finish as a top 5 seed in the last 5 years, and she's not won Coach of the Year yet. So, hey, AAC voters, vote Coach Abe for Coach of the Year. She deserves it. She completely transformed this program. We are a top 25 caliber team seemingly every year under her. She's the Coach of the Year in the conference. Stop playing around. Give it to her this year. She deserves it. I mean, we're 13-2. I mean, come on now. Give her Coach of the Year.
Definitely.
Yeah, she deserves it. But that's all the time we have for today. Stick with us because I'm going to be joined by Johnny Jackson. We're going to talk some baseball next. Thank you for joining me, Kennedy.
Of course.
All right. See y'all after the break.
Good morning, fellas, except for Andre.
KG in the building.
James Harden is a stat pack.
Yeah, that is right, you're right.
He's the best scorer.
He has 120 straight points.
Bro, 120 straight points out. He doesn't pass.
All right, let's do this. Let's get down to business, guys.
He's still got Aaron Gordon, PJ Tucker, and them boys. Come on now.
What about Carlos?
Tom Brady kisses the sun.
Facts.
I think it's kind of special though.
What? What are you talking about, man? Crazy, man.
I'll never say that.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back. And now we got Johnny with us talking some baseball. Johnny, how are you doing?
I'm not doing bad. Alex saw as I was trying to tie this mess back up, I said, probably missed one hair. It's going to be really obnoxious. And lo and behold, I did. So it was just kind of dangling here, tucked it behind the glasses. So we'll see how well that works out. Alex, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I'm heading home later today. I'm excited for that. But spring training started yesterday, so I want to talk some baseball with you. What, if any, storylines are you looking forward to, like either in spring training or this season?
Storylines. Honestly, I'm looking forward to how the Dodgers clubhouse will react. I mean, Bauer's a very outspoken person, and just also with 7 starting pitchers competing for officially 5 rotation spots, unofficially probably 6 somewhere at the course of the season. That is a very interesting dynamic to watch. Unfortunately, with the blackouts, because Manfred doesn't know how to run a sports league, wasn't able to watch the Dodgers game yesterday. Very sad about that. Looks like we're going to have to resort to very legal means to watch those games.
For sure. I watched some of the Dodgers game yesterday. They were playing Oakland. But I watched the Yankees game yesterday, and Yankees Twitter was being Yankees Twitter. And when they fell down 3-0 in like the second inning, Yankee fans were exclaiming that the season is over because losing 3-0 in the first spring training game means the world, apparently. But I want to jump into your division winners this year. The NL West is going to be, I think, the best top 2 teams in the league, period, with the Dodgers and the Padres. Who do you have winning that battle?
So I physically cannot go against the Dodgers as it stands right now. The Padres are very good. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a slight on the Padres. It's like a 1A, 1B kind of situation. A lot of the other divisions are kind of a lot easier to pick just because there's one team that's just so far above everyone else. But this division, I mean, if you pick the Padres, I'm not going to yell at you. I will be disappointed. But Dodgers are nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And as much as I love the Padres, the Dodgers have an all-star team. And it's really hard to pick against them. But like you kind of said, if someone does pick the Padres, I'm not going to be like, bro, you're tripping. Because that Padres team is really good with Tatis, with Machado, with Blake Snell, Yu Darvish. They got guys on that team. So if they do somehow win that division, I can't say I would be surprised. But no, the Dodgers are just leaps and bounds. I think they're the best team in baseball, and I don't think it's particularly close. But let's move into what I think is the most boring division in baseball this year, the NL Central. Seems like no one outside of maybe the Cards want to do good. And I think that's kind of bad for baseball, but that's a different topic for a different day. Who do you have coming out of the NL Central?
So I actually have nobody coming out of the NL Central. I have them all giving up around June 1st.
I'm with it. I like it. Stop playing baseball.
No, I mean, like you said, the only team that's really gone out and trying is the Cardinals. The Reds say they're trying. The Reds did revamp pretty much their entire farm system. So I am very excited to see how Kyle Bodie and Driveline really do help the entire Reds organization. But obviously that's not going to be done in one 60-game season or 2 seasons. That is a multi-season long drafting, developing. So we're probably not going to see the actual fruits of that effort for another 2 or 3 years. So yeah, it's Cardinals or nothing. I mean, Arenado looks great in red. As ashamed as I am to admit that, he looks great in red.
Yeah, no, I watched some of that game too yesterday. It looked weird seeing him in red. He looked good, but it looked weird. I I was mentally just not prepared for it. But I think the best division in baseball, top to bottom, and I think we both agree on this, is the NL East. Who do you have coming out of the NL East here? It could be the Braves, could be the Mets, could be the Nats. I think I wouldn't necessarily be shocked if any of those three won it.
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the New York Mets. On the contingency, or on the whatever it's called, doesn't matter. Words are stupid.
Words are hard.
If Seth Lugo comes back and is healthy, and they keep him out of the rotation, they keep him, the social distancing 6 feet away from the rotation at all times, the Mets are going to win that division, and it's not going to be particularly close. I mean, listen,
really?
I'm a big Edwin Diaz guy. We've seen that before. You hate it. I love Edwin Diaz. I love Dellin Betances. Like, Dellin Betances, nerves of steel, absolute king. Okay, give him the crown.
He gave the Yankees a walk-off win on a wild pitch, Johnny.
Okay, and
hey, I appreciate it. We won the game, but he threw it over Wilson Ramos's head, and I think it was Clint Frazier came in to score.
When was Wilson Ramos in the Yankees?
No, this was last season when he was on the Mets.
The catcher. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. That shows you where my mind's at this morning.
Yeah. But no, I don't have the Mets making the playoff. Well, I guess we can jump into your NL wildcards now since we're here. But I don't have the Mets in the playoffs. I think the Mets are going to Met, and I think the Nats will get that second wildcard spot, and then obviously the Padres get the first wildcard spot, and then I would assume the Padres would win that game. But yeah, I don't have the Mets making the playoffs. It's hard for me to believe in it. It's like believing in an Atlanta sports team, like in a championship. I just can't do it until it happens. I just feel like the Mets are going to Met. They're going to collapse at some point. They're going to do something dumb. Someone's going to have an error somewhere that costs them a big game that they absolutely have to win. It's just going to happen. They're the Mets. That's just what they do.
So a thing that I think is really interesting, because Ahmed Rosario at shortstop was not great. Not great at all. Now they have Francisco Lindor, at worst, like a bottom three shortstop, period. But the men's defense is electric. Boogie, woogie, woogie. So
Johnny Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh God. So the men's defense
almost as bad as Okelo last week. Almost.
No, nowhere close. Listen, my jokes are for me. But the infield of the Mets is significantly better. Obviously, Pete Alonso at first base, not great. Dude,
doesn't play defense at all.
You're on the get Pete Alonso out of the lineup kick. I am not.
Mm-hmm.
I am not. He was still an above average hitter last year. You need him in that lineup.
Dom's better.
Huh?
Dom Smith is better. Put him
Dom
first.
Smith is a better hitter, yes,
and better defensively.
Better defensively, yes, but you need both of them in that lineup.
Mm.
There's no use handcuffing a young guy. Honestly, at this point with who even is their center fielder right now? I know they signed somebody. I'm
Nimmo.
Nemo's
right. Going to start, and then Almora will come off the bench.
Yeah, with his pool noodle bat.
Yeah, he's going to be a defensive replacement because Nimmo doesn't know how to play defense.
No, he doesn't. Man,
hey, they don't play defense, bro.
If they could get JBJ, that is a signing that needs to happen. They need JBJ.
I agree. But let's see. So third, they got JD Davis. Mm-hmm. Second, they got McNeil. That's
Nasty.
good. That's
Nasty.
Good. You got him. Then right, you got Conforto, and then left, you got Dom. Dom last year was not great in left field. He can hit, but he can't play defense in left. That team is pretty weak defensively, except up the middle of the infield. Everywhere else,
don't let it get past the infield. Nimmo isn't stopping it.
Don't let it get past the infield because Nimmo's not going to stop it. Conforto can kind of play defense, but everywhere else, if the ball's hit, especially with a pitcher like Stroman, who's a ground ball pitcher, yikes.
I feel a lot better about that with Stroman and with Syndergaard coming back because they both get a lot of ground balls. With Francisco Lindor there, I mean, it's kind of like the Matt Chapman effect. Matt Chapman was so good at third base that Marcus Semien was able to kind of play over to his weaker side where he could cover more ground. I think that Francisco Lindor adds so much range in the infield that it lets McNeil and JD Davis off easier. And he's also helping them out with their defense and getting them a little bit better jumps.
Oh, for sure. But you hit a ground ball to Pete and you have a hit. That dude was bad at defense last year.
Oh,
But
believe me, I know.
yeah. But who's your wild card teams? You know.
So if I pick the Mets to win, I think one of the wild card teams has to be the Braves. I'm just not sold on. Not that I'm not sold on Mike Soroka. I just think he will regress significantly because I just don't think there's any way with his repertoire and the way his pitches are moving. I don't think there's any way he gives up like 0.7 home runs per nine again, and like 5% home run to fly ball rate. That's just not sustainable over a longer career. I think he comes a little bit back down to earth. I'm way higher on Max Fried than I am on Mike Soroka, but plus I just don't love that bullpen still.
I was gonna say the only thing that worries me about Atlanta is that bullpen. You know, they lost Melanson. And that's a big loss. He went to San Diego. Like, what are they going to do? Because I think, that's right. They did lose Shane Green. So your starters are pretty good. I like their starting rotation. I'm a Soroka believer. I'm a stan. I love Mike Soroka. Welcome back, King. But Max Fried, stud. Like, but you get it to that bullpen, and it's just like, cross your fingers. Like it could be really, really bad. Not Phillies level bad like it was last year, but it can be pretty bad. So you have the Braves. Who's playing the Braves in that wild card game?
Braves Padres. I mean, that's kind of how it has to be, right? It's got to be the loser of those two because it's not like the Pirates are going to sneak in there.
Heck yeah, bro! You saw what Pittsburgh did yesterday?
Pirates are officially the best team in baseball in 2021. I mean,
them and the Tigers. The Tigers put 6 up in the first inning on the Phillies, and they walked in 4 runs.
Listen, I like where the Tigers are headed. A lot of people might not like where the Tigers are headed.
The Tigers are exciting.
I like that. Not this year, obviously.
Oh,
maybe this year for like Miggy. He's kind of cool, but like
he should hit 3,000 hits and 500 home runs or 600 home runs. One of the two.
I think it's 500.
Yeah, this year.
Hopefully,
this year.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah. But no, the Tigers are exciting. They have a great farm system. This year, not the year, but like 2022, 2023, they could be exciting because they have a great farm system and they're gonna have a lot of cap space because Miggy's gonna come off the books. You brought us to Tigers, so let's jump to the AL. Why not? Let's start in the Tigers division. Let's go AL Central. Who do you have coming out of the AL Central? There is a correct answer to this, so answer it correctly.
The correct answer is the White Sox. And if you do not like the White Sox, you're wrong. This is a White Sox stand show. Yep. We will always be White Sox stands.
Tim Anderson. We love you, Tim.
Yohan Moncada stole a base yesterday. He did not attempt a single stolen base over the 2020 season, which was great because COVID messed that man up. It messed him up bad. But, seeing him steal a base yesterday, I'm liking where he's at because he was their best hitter in 2019.
Yep.
Like by a clear margin. And he was really bad last year. But if he gets right, that lineup is scary. Also, Adam freaking Engel, home run yesterday. Oh, that is chef kiss.
Now, we love the White Sox here. I got the White Sox too. Like Johnny was saying, his show, this show, they're White Sox fan pods. Go Tim Anderson. And yeah, I don't like Tony La Russa, but my love for Tim Anderson outweighs all of that. But let's jump to the AL West. This one I think is maybe the hardest division to pick that isn't the NL East, just because it feels like there isn't that like big time favorite. It feels like it could go a couple different ways. Who do you have coming out of the AL West?
I have Oakland coming out of the AL West. So Houston is good, but they got worse. They got significantly worse. Still with no Verlander. Greinke's on the decline. Their young kids were good last year, but I don't think an entire kind of pitching staff of mostly 20 to 22-year-olds is going to perform over 162 games after such a short sample size. Also, they lost one of their best bats in George Springer. They got Michael Brantley back, which is like cool, I guess. But like Yuli Gurriel, I hate that man. I hate him with a passion. Alex Bregman is still nasty. He's going to be an MVP candidate. Jose Altuve has regressed somewhat. Correa is still good, but it's a matter of if Correa can stay on the field. Like, who's their right fielder? Freaking like Josh Reddick.
Is he still there? Yeah, if he's still there, it's him.
Yeah, like the Astros don't scare me. Their pitching staff and their pitching development will always be elite, but without a lineup that can kind of score runs, Jordan's there, Jordan's nasty, but like nothing else there scares me. It's Oakland or nothing.
Yeah, I'm on Oakland too, but this is a hot take. Don't be shocked if the Angels do something. Like, do they have the pitching staff? Absolutely not. But they have some guys who have been good in the past to where if they're good again this year, I wouldn't be shocked. They got Jose Quintana, Alex Cobb. Dylan Bundy was pretty good last year. He's the only competent pitcher in Anaheim. But no, they have Mike Trout, right? That's all
He threw 100 yesterday.
And Shohei he hit 100 yesterday. So if Ohtani's pitching, like we've been saying, Ohtani Sundays, do a doubleheader, make it happen, Angels. But yeah, no, I want to say the Angels just because I want Mike Trout in the playoffs. I think baseball needs that. I think baseball needs Mike Trout in the playoffs desperately, but it's going to be the A's, and I think that the Astros will come in second, as much as I hate that organization. Let's jump to the AL East, my division. Who do you have coming out of the AL East?
So I don't think it's going to be the Rays because they did get significantly worse over the offseason, and I like seeing at least, 5 major leaguers with decent experience in a lineup. They don't really have that. But you know what? I'm going with the Blue Jays. Listen.
That spring training game yesterday convince you?
I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I was blacked out.
They beat us 6-5 in 7.
Oh no.
Yankees Twitter melted. It was pretty funny.
Seeing Yankees fans mauled is one of my favorite pastimes. But the Blue Jays, right? You got Hyun-Jin Ryu. You got Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray, I'm a huge Robbie Ray guy.
Robbie Ray trash.
You got Ross Stripling. I'm a huge Ross Stripling guy too.
He trashed too.
Ross Stripling had a really rough year last year. I don't know what happened, but he was bad last year for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But with them deadening the ball again, I think Ross Stripling will have a good time. They've got Nate Pearson too, who throws absolute fuzz. A huge Nate Pearson guy. Also, Bo Bichette's nasty. Vladdy lost 42 pounds. Let's go, Vladdy.
He looked good. I was like, dang, okay, Vladdy, I see you, bro.
Vladdy's got a wagon. Vladdy's carrying the wagon all the way to the AL East.
I love Bo Bichette though. I think we talked about this on your show, how I wish Bo Bichette and Vladdy were not in the AL East so I could wear their jerseys. But no, I got the Yankees. I think they are far and away the best team in the AL East. I know, shocker, right? But I think the Blue Jays could compete. I don't think it's this year. I think next year, though, if they can get more pitching, because in that rotation, I really only believe in Ryu. Maybe Pearson can be that guy, but I don't believe in Stripling or Robbie Ray. And there's nothing that like scares you in their bullpen either. Like, it's not a bad bullpen, but it's not like, watch out if they get to that bullpen. So I'm gonna go with the Yankees. I just think that lineup, if the starting rotation is what they could be, that's a top 3 starting rotation in baseball if they're all hitting. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Yankees. Who do you have in your wild card for the AL?
I think so. Based on what I picked as division winners, I think it has to be Yankees Houston. I think that would be a hilarious wild card game.
Really?
Yeah. If I pick Oakland to win the West and the Blue Jays to win the East, I mean, that's kind of how it has to roll.
I'm going Minnesota, and I don't think Houston gets in. I think the second place in the AL East, so Toronto for me, but Yankees for you, and then the Twins.
I'm not sure if I see the Twins pitching staff being there.
Really?
They don't even have Odorizzi back yet.
That is true. But they got Boomstick. That's all that matters. They only need Boomstick.
Yeah, but like they also have Andrelton Simmons, who hasn't really swung a bat competently in years.
Yeah, but that's why you have the DH, right? You can cover up Simmons' bad bat because with his he has elite defense, and you can cover up his bat with Cruz in the lineup. I think, yeah, their pitching staff isn't great, but I think they're a team that can just outscore people.
I mean, outscore them maybe 1-0. That's about it.
No, they got bats. They got Kapler. I mean, Mitch Garver can hit.
Trevor Bauer's not in the division anymore. Kapler's got nothing.
Fair. Kapler went deep yesterday. So let's go playoffs. We'll cut out the ALDS. But who do you have in the CS for each division or for each league? Sorry.
Oh, I don't know how brackets work. I could do it if I wrote it down, but I'm too lazy to do that.
I was gonna write it down, but then Johnny was like, I can go right now. I was like, okay, guess I'm not writing that down.
So I guess probably Blue Jays are the 1 seed. Beat the wild card team, whoever of the Yankees and Houston that is, those dog water teams. So them versus the White Sox. Blue Jays, White Sox.
I have Yankees, White Sox. I think that's kind of the inevitable. That'd be a really fun series if it was Yankee White Sox or even Blue Jays, White Sox. A lot of firepower for sure. But in the NL, who's your NLCS? I have a hot take here.
So probably Dodgers are the absolute cracked people. They're absolutely nasty. So Dodgers, Cardinals.
Okay.
I think that's the way the bracket will work out, right?
Yeah, if you have the Cardinals beating the Braves or the Mets, sorry. Yeah.
Dodgers, Cardinals. One of those replays that I don't cry about.
Here's my hot take. The Padres will beat the Dodgers in the NLDS as the wild card team. I have no reason to believe that, but I want to be different from Johnny, so I'm going to go with it. And then I have the Padres and the Braves in the NLCS. I'm going Padres beating them, which is kind of scaring me because this is the World Series I had last year. But I think the White Sox get the Yankees and we get a Padres-White Sox World Series.
Again, 2 years in a row. You know, if you keep guessing the same thing, eventually you might.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Listen, I hope for your sake that you're wrong again, and I hope it's the Dodgers. Listen, if I can get the World Series right and the World Series MVP right again, I'll be happy, you know.
Please predict Dodgers Yankees.
I don't think I will.
Dang it.
I predicted that before the season even started. I said the Dodgers are going to beat the Rays in 6 in the World Series. I'm pretty proud of that. I'm still proud of that.
Yeah.
To this day. Should I have that tweet pinned up on my Twitter? Yes. Do I?
Should.
No, because I don't feel like finding it. Someone commented on it like the day after the World Series, like some like random dude I'd never even seen before. I was like, I know, I was right. I was right the whole time.
Yeah.
Genius.
Mm-hmm. So who's your World Series?
I think it's got to be Dodgers White Sox. I mean, I like the Blue Jays a lot, but they're not beating the White Sox. I don't think they're a better team than the White Sox. White Sox have got a great staff, especially with Michael Kopech coming back. Their bullpen is sneaky nasty. Well, Liam Hendricks is just nasty. But the rest of their bullpen is sneaky nasty. Especially
they got some guys in there. Mm-hmm. And that rotation, they added Lance Lynn in there, who isn't like elite, but is far from average. I think he's a great above average add to that rotation.
Dallas Keuchel was good last year too.
And Dallas Keuchel can still twirl it. So I got Padres, White Sox, and then I got the White Sox winning. I would assume you have the Dodgers.
As it stands right now, I have the Dodgers winning, but that could change depending on matchups.
Yeah.
I think the White Sox would need maybe one more dominant left-handed arm somewhere if they really wanted to make it an interesting series. I mean, we did see the Braves throw a couple good right-handers in there and make it a good series, but the Braves-Dodgers series last year more felt like the Dodgers playing terrible than it did the Braves playing good.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like, no, I completely agree. And then Atlanta just full on collapsed.
Dude, they scored like 15 runs in or like 10 runs in an inning or whatever in game 3. And I was like, all right, this is easy. And then they lost game 4 because Dave Roberts doesn't know when to pull Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs. Seen it before, seen it again. Hurts my feelings every time.
Mm-hmm.
But they won. Kershaw's a ring. They never have to win another game, and I'll be happy.
I'm dead. Nah, you need more rings, Johnny. More rings. Always more rings. But let's go MVP picks. I don't know. That's always a fun topic. I think in the AL, the easy choice is Mike Trout, so I didn't go with Mike Trout. Who are you going with?
My MVP pick. I like to be contrarian on MVP picks. I like to be very stupid, very crazy. My very stupid, very crazy is Shohei Ohtani, because if he's the hitter he always is, I said this on bets last week.
Crazy.
If he's the hitter he always is, he's a 3 to 4 win player, just with his hitting alone.
Mm-hmm.
If he pitches at even like a slightly above league average level, that is a 3 to 4 win pitcher as well. So he could sneak his way into a 7 or 8 win player, and just based on the novelty of that, could win the MVP similar to how he won the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I have someone written down, but I'm going to go with a different answer because we talked about how much we love this guy. In the AL, the World Series champions for me, I'm going Tim Anderson. I just think that man, the White Sox are going to have back-to-back MVPs. Tim Anderson, the bat flip king, he's winning MVP this year. He's going to win the batting title again. He won it 2 years ago. He'll win it again this year. He's going to play some good defense at short, and he's going to win MVP. The GOAT.
If someone's going to win MVP on that team, I feel like it would be Moncada.
Probably. But I like going crazy. I had DJ LeMahieu written down, but I decided to change my mind. I feel like DJ LeMahieu is always a safe bet.
I still think either of them have like the pop.
I mean, it's not the glamorous pick. I think obviously the glamorous pick is Mike Trout, but that man, they should just rename the award the Mike Trout Award, just so they don't have to give it to him again. But who do you have in the NL? Because I think this is fun. The NL has all the stars.
Gosh, who did I say? I forget who I said on bets. I wanted to keep it consistent, but I'm just absolutely blanking right now. So I'm talking about good teams. Honestly, maybe Michael Conforto.
Really?
Yeah. He was the best hitter on the best offense in baseball last year in the New York Mets. If the Mets are good as well, and he keeps up into like the 140, 150 WRC plus like he did last year, I mean, it's really hard to deny him that award, especially because it's not like he's a slouch in right field. He plays a very good defensive right field.
Yeah.
I think he could be a sneaky MVP candidate. Because I don't want to be like, it's Mookie Betts, because Mookie Betts is nasty.
I think there's an easy answer that's not on either of those teams.
Is it Fernando Tatis Jr.?
It is Fernando Tatis Jr., the face of baseball, the coolest man in baseball. It's got to be him. I mean, how can it not be? Like, unless something happens where he gets hurt or something.
It's the curse of MLB The Show. It just is.
It might. Hey, that could be the thing. But like, he's fun. He's lovable. He's really good at the sport of baseball. Like, it has to be Tatis. Has to be. I also could see Acuna getting it. I think Acuna is going to go off this year.
Go off more than he already has?
Yeah, he's going to be even crazier.
Dude, I want him to hit 40-40 so bad. I want it to happen just so I have to stop hearing no one's ever hit 40-40 besides Barry Bonds. You know, like, get out of my face.
He might. If anyone's going to do it, it's him.
Yeah, well, no one else steals enough to do it.
Yeah.
Sounds like Whit Merrifield, who wants to get paid $30 million a year to hit like 3 homers.
Wasn't our boy Jose Canseco the first to do 40-40?
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out Jose Canseco. He tweeted retweet for a follow back and never followed me back.
Did you see the tweet about his daughter?
Yeah, that made me uncomfortable.
She tweeted, she's like, yeah, my nickname is Poop. So like,
I don't like that.
I hate it. Listen. There's a lot of things I hate. The silly goose video on TikTok, absolutely despise that. Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, I'm sending that to you after this is over.
Please do.
Number 2, Jose Canseco giving the nickname Poop to his daughter. That is terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Jose Canseco's a terrifying dude. But that's all the time we have for today. John, do you have anything you want to close out with?
Not really, except for go Dodgers. And you know what? Shohei Sundays.
I'm with it. 7 inning doubleheaders. Ohtani pitches one of them every Sunday. I'm with it. But Johnny, thank you for joining me. Stay with us. I'm gonna have a rant when we come up next. Don't know what I'm talking about yet. Johnny, what should I rant about?
I think you should rant. Nope, can't say that on this show.
All right.
You should rant
But-
about Potato Head.
Potato Head? Okay. Maybe. Probably not. But we'll be back with a rant. Who knows what I'm ranting about? I guess you're about to find out in like 2 minutes. But see you guys later. Peace.
I'm in charge of the meeting this week. So you know what we're going to talk about? Basketball. The second thing we're going to talk about this week is basketball. Okay? And the third and last thing we're going to talk about is basketball.
Yeah. God. Yeah. It's ridiculous. I want to quit. Can I quit? Take that.
Look at the screen. What are we talking about this week?
Basketball.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to The Rant. I want to thank my guests, Johnny and Kennedy, for coming on. We had a great show. Looking forward to talking to them again soon. But it's time for The Rant. And for this, I just want to talk. Women's basketball deserves your support. Like on Thursday, they have their biggest game of the season against USF. It will probably decide who wins the American Conference in the regular season. I want you guys to come out and support them. They have the #1 scoring defense in the country. They're giving up 49.5 points per game. No one's doing that. No one's holding teams under 50 like UCF is, sorry. They deserve your support. Come out on Thursday, be loud, help them out, help them get this win over USF. They've held 8 opponents below 50 points and 3 below 40. That's insane. When they played Temple, they gave up 37 points, I believe. Yeah, but no one's doing that. That defense is insane. And they're doing it all without the full court press that Coach Abe made so popular. They don't do that anymore. And they're still dominating defensively. Come out and support them. Seriously, they're 13-2. They should have more people in the stands. They deserve it. They've held Houston, who is an amazing team, to season lows twice. Both times we played them, we held them to season lows. The defense is insane. The games are fun. On the bench is amazing. The bench has fun. They're dancing. They're cheering no matter what. Coach Abe is dancing in the locker room post-game. This team is fun. They deserve your support. They deserve your love. They deserve to have a crowd packed on Thursday, being loud and supporting them when they take on USF. But that is my rant for this week. I know it's shorter than normal, but I'll be back next Monday for another episode of Hitting the Field. Be easy, guys.
When I really hit the field, undefeated champs, man, you know what's the deal. Trying to find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max.